Ortiz. She is the chairman of our board for the Chamber of Commerce. Over to my right, we have Tim Culpepper, attorney, and then we have Mr. Billy Coleman, superintendent. And we appreciate you attending. As I said, Mr. Coleman has asked for an opportunity to address you, the Cullman area, as well as the entire state of Alabama regarding recent allegations made by the Wisconsin-based Freedom from Religion Foundation. Mr. Coleman will take questions from the floor following his prepared statement, but he asks that those be limited to press only. Mr. Coleman.
There's a lot of stuff up here. I think I better do it this way. Well, the first thing I want to do is welcome everybody here today. Glad to have you in Coleman County. It's a pleasure, it's been my great pleasure to get to know many of you the last week and a half. I appreciate the courtesy you've extended me, the professional way that you conduct your jobs. I've taken annual leave for this press conference, so I'm speaking on my own time and as a private citizen rather than superintendent. Since I'm making these statements on my own time, I will address the allegations surrounding the prayer caravan, as that is the only item for which I am responsible in the private capacity as citizen. There will only be an incidental discussion of the other matters involving my official capacity as superintendent, and I will set the stage of where we are today, take a moment to talk about what motivates me as a private individual, discuss the prayer caravan, and briefly address other allegations raised by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. The short explanation is the prayer caravan is a private event that I sponsored in my private capacity as a concerned citizen and resident of Coleman County. Because it was something of interest to the community, I requested it to be posted on our school system's website. Like other private events that have been posted or advertised on the website, it did not carry the endorsement of the district. According to the legal advice that I've received, the fact that I'm the main sponsor is not an issue. Public officials do not surrender their constitutional rights upon taking public office. On Monday, July 22nd, 2013, the Superintendent's Office received written allegations from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, a group based out of Madison, Wisconsin, concerning the prayer caravan that is to take place on August 10, 2013, and some other allegations. This group demanded the immediate cancellation of the prayer caravan event. Now, the district was given an August 2nd deadline to answer these allegations, and that would have been this past Friday. On Thursday, July the 25th, this group issued a press release stating the allegations. Events have followed, which leads us up to the press conference today. First, regarding my private motivations and public activities outside my office as superintendent, I've endeavored to serve Christ all my life. Certainly, the highest calling in a Christian's life is to live these principles out. Talk is cheap. And like everyone else, I failed many times. During my 33 and a half years in education, I have participated in many Christian activities in my private life. I'm a certified volunteer and speaker for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I've supervised FCA huddles at every school that I've ever been employed. I've organized and sponsored youth rallies, prayer events, started a Christian Youth Center in Alexander City, Alabama. I've taken busloads of athletes to FCA camps in North Carolina, written devotions in the FCA Coaches Bible, and led the National Coaches Bible Study in Black Mountain, North Carolina. I have led FCA Coaches Bible Studies in Coleman County, which took place before school in the mornings and on a voluntary basis. I've spoken to churches and civic organizations since I was 16 years old. Spoken to most of the churches in Coleman County, probably all the civic organizations. I don't put these facts out there to tout myself, but simply to explain that thousands of people in and around Coleman County knew where I stood well before I was elected superintendent of Coleman County Schools. There are many people in Coleman County who are deeply rooted in the Christian faith, and they certainly don't need a local school system to sponsor prayer events. I am the same way I've always been. I'm highly involved in the Christian community in Coleman County and beyond. The prayer caravan is just one of many events I've been involved with as a private citizen which occur outside my official duties as superintendent. My greatest concern is that I've been a distraction for an event that simply is about prayer for our schools, by individuals gathered together for an act of corporate worship. It was never intended to be a grand public event. My favorite scripture is John 3:30. I must decrease and Christ must increase. My hope is that this prayer event is what it was intended to be, a prayer event conducted simply by free individuals who want to pray for our schools. I will participate in our prayer caravan the best I can, but I will not be a distraction to its purpose. And with the above backdrop regarding my sponsorship of faith-based event in my private capacity as a citizen of Coleman County, I will give the backdrop to the prayer caravan and address other allegations briefly. Through the years, a number of people have inquired about an opportunity to have a prayer event where citizens could voluntarily come pray for our county schools on the day before school start in the fall. There are 29 schools in our school system, but in a few instances, several schools are on the same campus. A schedule was made starting with Garden City School at 8 a.m., ending with Cold Springs School at 5 p.m. The schedule was made where someone wanted to go to all the schools they could, hence the name Caravan. The name Coleman County Schools was used because those were the schools where the prayers were taking place. Basically, what happened at each site was people would voluntarily meet on the first Saturday before school started. Those in attendance would join hands in a circle and pray for about 15 minutes. This would occur in front of the school, not inside the school's building. The doors would be locked. Crowds were modest. Some sites had less than 10 people, others around 50. The first year was probably better attended than last year. A few would travel to more than one site, less to all the sites. It was just that simple. And as a sponsor, I certainly took an active role in the event. This year the event was set as in years past, but having had several citizens inquire about the times and places, I requested that the event be placed on our school system's website for community information purposes. I followed the same procedure that all other groups must follow to get private activities of interest to students and parents of the county advertised on the website. When I received the concerns from the Wisconsin group, the information was removed from the website until the district could determine whether demands were warranted by the law. This group's main allegation concerning the prayer caravan is that it is sponsored by our school system due to my involvement and due to the notice posted on the district's announcement section of the website. Last Tuesday, the school board passed a resolution in an effort to clarify the situation. The resolution stated that the prayer caravan is not a school-sponsored event and, quote, if the prayer caravan moves forward, it does so without the endorsement of the Coleman County school system. I totally support the efforts of the board to set the record straight. I am certainly a man under authority, and that authority includes the Coleman County Board of Education, the State Department of Education, and the courts of the great state of Alabama and the United States of America. If those authorities determine that acting in my capacity as Superintendent of Education, I made a mistake in carrying out my official duties, then I accept the full consequences. Nevertheless, I do not recognize a private organization from Wisconsin as one of those authorities to which I am subject. Moreover, I've received legal advice that despite my official position as superintendent, I have the right to organize private events in my private capacity as a citizen of Coleman County, and to have announcements posted, even about religious events, on the announcement section of the district's website, on the same basis as non-religious, privately sponsored events are also posted. Like other private events that have been posted in that section and others to come in the future, the posting of my announcement does not carry the endorsement of the district. The overall context and tone of the announcement, not the least of which was my signature in Christ, Billy Coleman, should have made it clear that I'm not in the habit of signing, nor have I ever signed official district correspondence with that signature. The best news I've heard in the last week is the possibility from Wisconsin that the group from Wisconsin will send visitors down to monitor the prayer caravan. I think that's a great idea, to have someone from their organization to see for themselves what the prayer caravan is all about. Private citizens exercising their constitutional rights. And it is not run by school officials acting in their official capacity. As far as the other allegations this group has made, again, speaking as a private individual who has knowledge acquired in his official capacity as superintendent, FFRF is mistaken as to the facts of what actually goes on in the Coleman County schools. The allegations about prayer over the intercom, the church auditorium used for Teacher Institute, baccalaureate ceremonies, prayers at graduations, and other miscellaneous allegations are based on incorrect information and will receive an official response from the district in due time. I can say with certainty, for now I know the Coleman County school system strongly believes in protecting the rights and beliefs of students and employees and in respecting obligations under the Constitution as interpreted by the federal courts. We live in a time when certain groups hide behind the human rights of some to destroy the human rights of others. The government agencies of Coleman County and Alabama respect the rights of people to believe what they choose and to freely express those beliefs. However, I also believe that we as Christians have the same rights as anyone else to public access and our beliefs on our own time and to be afforded the same access to announcement channels as anyone else. The prayer caravan is held on a Saturday, is totally voluntary, and does not carry the endorsement of the district. I know fear can be a very strong deterrent to doing what is right. We have and will continue to respond respectfully. But it would be a mistake to take our kindred spirit for fear. We are not afraid, and we are not alone. We have the supports of millions of Americans who are ready to take a stand with those of us in Coleman County. There have been a lot of debate on what was inside the heads of our founding fathers when this country was established. Why did they write what they wrote? What was the meaning of the First Amendment and public free exercise of religious belief? There's a host of documentation as to their original intent, including that found in the 1789 Northwest Ordinance, adopted after the First Amendment was ratified. I quote, "Religion, morality, and knowledge, being necessary to good government and the happiness of mankind, schools and the means of education shall forever be encouraged." Thus we know that the first public schools were established to teach children how to read the Bible. And the New England Primer, which was one of the first textbooks in America, certainly made references to the Bible. Now we come to this. An activist organization located halfway across the country attempting to eliminate private expressions of faith and worship by public school officials and employees acting in their own private time and in their own capacity as citizens of Coleman County. We strongly feel that this goes well beyond even what modern Supreme Court decisions require regarding the scope of the First Amendment. Respectfully and with full confidence that we believe people have the rights to their faith and it shouldn't be imposed upon them. So you won't hear us making disparaging comments about this organization. You won't hear me saying it.
When you originally posted the invitation on the website,
Yes, sir.
did you have any idea in your mind that it could draw fire from a group such as this?
Well, no, sir. I think probably the world that we live in with media and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, it is what it is. And our biggest problem is how is the prayer caravan, those of us that have seen it the way it's gone the past 2 years, how are we going to accommodate the crowd that's coming? I think you can almost take the word caravan off the title because it appears that so many people are going to be coming that it would never in my wildest dream that I believe that we'll be standing here today in a press conference. No,
You said you don't want to become a distraction to the event.
That's my biggest concern.
So at what point do you take yourself out of the event? Is that an option at all?
Well, I don't know. I'm praying about that. I think that I'm going to be a part of the event, but the way I do it, I just want it to be a way that keeps the focus on prayer and on God. And I love you guys. You guys have been fantastic. But if 4 of you follow me around at the prayer caravan, we're going to have to make some adjustments probably, because this is about prayer and the dignity of prayer, and I'm not going to take away from it. I want to be a part of it, obviously, and I intend to do so. I think I'm going to have to make that call that morning. You really don't know what to expect, I guess. And if y'all promise you won't follow me around, I would love to take part in it as I usually do, yes.
Do you find the way that you're carrying this out to not violate the separation of church and state issue, or
Sir?
The church and state issue, violation of the church and state issue? The way you're carrying this out, is that a technicality, the way you're doing it, by avoiding it?
Well, I think that what people may not realize in this country is prayer is very much a part of school. It has to be done within the confines. We do things according to the law as is permitted, but I think it's a misnomer that we can't express our faith. Like you hear all the time prayers taken out of schools and stuff. You just have to do it, before school, after school. Do it the ways that the law allows it to be done.
So you don't find it a sin to express your faith?
Do I have a sin?
Yeah, you don't.
No, sir, I do not, and I would express my faith. It's interesting. I talk too much. Tell me to shut up. What is expressing your faith? Is expressing your faith living your life on Christian principles? Do you have to say anything? I think people express their faith in all religious activities.
Why didn't this committee come after those at Sandy Hook when the massacre took place up there? They said, please pray for our school and our children and our family.
You're asking the wrong group. I don't know. Am I doing okay?
There
As
have
long as
been
there's a
other,
chance, there'll always be prayer.
Yeah.
there have been other schools in the area here in North Alabama who have had similar things happen with the FFRF and felt that they were, pushed in a corner or actually had to listen to them and take prayer out of their school. Do you think by you not stepping down and holding strong with your beliefs here, that might help some other schools bring it back into their own?
Well, we have certainly not mentioned any other schools in anything that we've said. We're taking the brunt of this, and that's okay. We're good with that. What will come out of it? I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the days ahead. As you know, last week Louisiana passed a law allowing prayer in their schools. Mississippi followed. I've had legislators already have come to me about we need a law in Alabama. I don't know. That's probably up to a higher cause. But all I know is that we love our students and we love the past generations that have made sacrifices so that I can stand here today. And we're gonna take a stand until somebody in authority tells us different.
Do you foresee a lawsuit on the way, and if so, how is it going to be funded to defend?
I don't know. I'm not going to predict it. We hope that it doesn't go to a lawsuit. And obviously, school boards, you can understand school boards, the fear factor. We're a very modest financially school system, and we've done really well the past couple of years. But we're like most school systems in Alabama. We're fighting for every dollar that we get. I think my comment on that will be that we've gotten tremendous amount of support for this cause, and it's taken a lot of different forms. Yes, sir.
Mr. Coleman, we in Cullman County have known you for many years, and you have been doing this for several years, this prayer caravan,
yes.
as a private citizen.
Yes,
And we've always understood it to be as a private citizen.
yes, sir.
Not once has those of us in Cullman County ever thought you were doing this representing the school,
I
because
know
we knew
that.
you well.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you
And
saying that.
so, as a private citizen, you have a right, we think, to do what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
You're not representing the schools. we can go back through history and look at statesmen, George Washington on down, that participated in religious activity. George Washington brought Bibles. He bought Bibles for his troops, which today we couldn't do that. Our founders did things that today are not being accepted, that our government has turned against. And I know that as a school board and a superintendent, you have to go by the law that's
Sure,
interpreted.
yes, sir.
But there, you know, the law of the land today is in many cases not what the founding fathers planned and not what they envisioned. And I can prove this with information and documentation of founders that I personally have.
Well, we read a couple of
So-
pieces of that documentation just a few minutes ago.
George
right?
Washington said that he would never have put his signature, and he was the presiding officer, the president of the Constitutional Convention. And he made the statement that if he thought it would ever endanger religious beliefs, that he would not put his signature to it.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, in Coleman County, we're proud of it.
Well, sir, I appreciate that. And, you know, I'm just going to clarify this, especially this today. What we want right now is for the prayer caravan to be the prayer caravan. And there's going to be probably other days ahead. And I love your analogies there, and they're certainly going to be part of the discussion. We just want the prayer caravan to be the prayer caravan and to be what it was intended to be first. And I think there's going to be a series of probably events in the future. But right now, that's our priority, you know. But I appreciate what you said. Anybody else?
Has the Board of Education spoke to you about this? And if so, have they given you their full support about your participation in this prayer caravan?
Well, the Board of Education has never interfered at all with my private expression of faith. I spoke at revival last week, every night, and they have never. They're wonderful people that care about the school system, but they understand that I have a private life where I do my spiritual activities and things like that, and they're taking regard to protecting the school, to making sure everybody understands it's not school sponsored. That they know that they don't even know, you know, they don't know all the things that I do out there, and I don't, you know, but they're great people. But they've supported me as they're wonderful support as a superintendent. They support me as an individual as well. Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.